Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Real Talk with the Real Deal, where we just get to know the MTC competitors. And today I'm not gonna beat around. I'm not gonna take my time. I got the commish, Hunter, the Hitman Chambless, here with me. Hunter, how you doing?
How's it going, man? Glad to be on. Thank you for having me on the first episode. I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, thanks for giving me the platform to do this. I appreciate it.
Of
I'm
course.
excited to see this. Excited to see this community grow. I think what you're building here is good, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thanks, man.
So
Means a lot.
So let's just get right into it. What the show is about? It's a casual conversation, getting to know each other. We see each other answer questions about movies and wrestling, but that's on its own channel now. But you're still involved in that. You just had a big last man standing match.
I did. Yes, I did. Let's not talk about that though.
No, you kept you. I thought maybe the comeback would happen when I was watching. I thought, oh, maybe, but unfortunately, that one didn't go your way. But not all of them can.
No.
So let's talk about Nerd Entertainment Network for a minute. How'd you come up with the concept?
So literally, I started wrestling trivia at a whole nother channel back in, I believe it was 2017, maybe 2018. I can't remember the exact year, but it was fun. But I felt like I wasn't wanted over there. So I took a few months off, and then I realized I could start my own wrestling trivia league. That's where Combat Zone Wrestling Trivia, as it was called at that time, which later became Combat Wrestling Trivia, came into effect. Then I literally just did that for a little while, and then I was like, well, as much as I love wrestling, I equally love movies. I was a fan of the Schmodown. I love watching movies. Movies have been a passion of mine for all my life. So I was like, well, if I take that love for movies and create a unique league where people can pick their strength categories, and it's more open to newer players or players who don't feel like they have a shot anywhere else, that's where I can be. But and literally Nerd Entertainment Network came into effect, and then when I was trying to run both CWT and the movie trivia challenge, it became too much for me. So that's when I was like, JB3, take control of this. And kudos to him. He took that higher than I could have ever taken it. But I can now focus on movie trivia. I can focus on this, the Nerd Division coming out this year, which is going to be super exciting. And some more big news I have to announce towards the end of this video.
Right, yeah, I'm excited to get into the Nerd Division because when I first heard about that, I've just based off the criteria like for choosing strengths and stuff, I was like, well, that's something that I could possibly be moderately okay in. And so I just like to compete. I like to be on screen answering questions, whether I get them right or wrong. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not here to win all the time. I just like talking wrestling. I like talking movies, and so this is a great channel to do that on. So thank you for creating this and allowing me to be part of it. So I don't think it's a secret to anyone that you are a big horror fan.
Yes.
How did that become like your genre? Like what started the horror love for you?
To be honest, it started with 1996's Scream. I watched that when I was probably way too young to be watching horror movies. But just the whole idea behind Scream of like it's a mass killer, but it's something new. It's teenagers talking like teenagers, just kids being kids, and just the comedy element, the mix of scares and comedy really did it. But like Scream was a huge jumping off point for me when it comes to horror, and then I kept diving deep into the classics. Exorcist, Shining was one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Just as much horror as I can get, I'm gonna get because that's just one of the genres that, to me, I love being scared. I love that feeling of, kind of looking over your shoulder and like you're not sure what is gonna happen next, and that anticipation of the big jump scare or the characters or whatever. It gets me excited. I love
Right.
horror.
Right. And I told you this. Horror is probably my least watched genre. So I feel like talking about horror is going to be pretty interesting because I'm going to probably be onto a whole bunch of new movies that weren't even on my radar. Um, because I've watched the classics. I've watched Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on
Hmm.
Elm Street, The Shining, Psycho. I've watched the big ones, but some of these smaller maybe indie horror films or some of these ones that didn't get much love from
Yeah.
critics and wide audiences. I probably haven't watched them like the big ones of the last few years I've watched, but probably anything before 27, like the 2000s to 2000 like 17 when I really got into movies.
Hmm.
I probably couldn't tell you anything about them. So,
Indie
um,
horror is one of those things that I understand it's not for everybody, but there are a few like independent horror movies that I absolutely love. I think The Witch is one of the best horror movies of the 2010s. I'd put
I will
that.
agree with that.
So The Witch, Get Out, which I think is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Oh,
Us,
definitely.
Jordan Peele does a great job of that little small budget indie horror. Something like Hereditary and Midsommar. Ari Aster did a fantastic job with both those movies because it's not just about horror; it's about characters. It's about the
Right.
people you're following. The horror is the background. The characters are what you're supposed to focus on, and that's what I love about those type of movies.
Right. Like even like Get Out, it's what was one of my favorite movies of that year. I was rooting for a Best Picture win. I knew it
I
wasn't
was
gonna
too.
happen. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, but just the fact that it was nominated, right?
What year was that? 2017.
2017 was it, or was it just screenplay?
I believe it was just screenplay. I don't think it, which sucks because that it didn't get any acting Oscars and it didn't get any like a best picture or anything. I think it should have got best picture, but I don't think it did.
Mm, yeah, I don't agree with a lot of the Best Picture choices, but then again, who does?
Horror at the Oscars is a topic all on its own.
Oh, definitely. What is it like? Silence of the Lambs is the last one to win.
I believe so actually. So that was like it was like 1997.
91.
Was it 91? Wow.
I believe so. Yeah, it was early
Yeah.
90s, which is crazy to think, because horror is such a big genre. Like a lot of people love horror movies.
Hmm.
So the fact that it's been almost 30 years now since a horror movie has won, and we've had really good ones, like you mentioned, Get Out, um,
Hereditary,
it's
Midsommar.
Hereditary.
Like, dude, Toni Collette should have been best actress for Hereditary.
I was just
She
about
was
to say the same thing.
so great in that movie, and they snubbed her of her Oscar.
Hmm.
She wasn't even
Almost.
nominated that year.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think we've seen a lot of good movies the last 5 years. I mean, I
Oh
can
yeah.
only say on the like that's how long I've like really been into movies and collecting and watching.
Hmm.
Before that it was mainly sports, basketball, but now movies is kind of my thing.
Nice.
Just love watching movies, as you can tell.
Yeah, look at that
Um,
collection back there.
but Toni Collette's performance is probably my like favorite actress performance of the last 5 years. She
Dude,
was
that's
fantastic. She freaked me out.
she was, and it wasn't just that she was scary. It's the fact that she brought so many different levels of a character in one performance. She was angry, sad, happy, emotional, just everything in a performance that, and because it was a horror movie, the Oscars didn't take it seriously. That is the thing that kind of makes me mad, is because like it's voters see horror as genre films.
Mhm.
Sees it as, a film that can't be taken seriously. But people like Ari Aster, Jordan Peele, they're showing that horror can be more than just, your slashers, your Freddy's, your Jasons, your Michaels. It can be really deep stories about race, about, loss, about, cults that really, ebb with people's minds, and that the Oscars don't see that as relevant. Like after all these years, it boggles my mind.
Yeah, it's something I don't understand, and I don't know if we ever will. Horror movies need to get more love, and
They do.
that's coming from a casual horror fan.
Yeah.
So
They definitely need more love when it comes to being respected. Like reviewers, like the great Roger Ebert. I love him. I would always disagree with his horror reviews because he would look at a horror movie not as what it actually means, but what was on surface level. He couldn't get past the blood or the shocking scenes to see the hidden message behind whatever the movie was talking about.
right. So hopefully that gets changed soon. So
I hope so.
so in talking horror, you said it started with Scream. After that, what what was it about horror that kept you coming back? Like what movies were after Scream?
Well, after Scream, I went more into your classic slashers for a little while. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street was a big one. Halloween, which is one of my favorite slasher movies of all time. Um, and then it slowly started going into psychological thrillers or like horror that deals with, just certain people. So your psychos with Norman Bates, or your kind of your psychological thrillers, Hannibal Lecter movies, Silence of the Lambs, things like that. And then jumping off of that, that's where my love for true crime came in.
Mm.
You know, documentaries about Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and all these weird and psychologically broken people that you want to study, like why did they do this. And a popular one that you see in a whole bunch of movies being represented is Ed Gein. Because he influenced Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw series, Norman Bates, and just Hannibal Lecter. Like a lot of characters were horror characters were based off of the real life gruesome scenes that Ed Gein did in Gainesville.
Mm. Mm. I did not know that. That is wow. See, you come on the show, yeah, and you learn something new. That's what we're bringing the people.
There you
We're
go.
here. We're here to teach you.
Yes, we are. Oh
So,
man.
so what would you say is your favorite horror movie?
Mm,
Putting you on the spot.
favorite horror movie. All right, I'm gonna break these up into two different answers.
I'm not surprised.
My favorite slasher is 1974's Black Christmas, which was the original slasher film. So perfectly done with a great kick-ass female cast. You know, you had Margot Kidder, who I believe this was right before Superman the movie, and you had just a whole bunch of great actresses in this film. And my favorite horror movie is Scream. It's the one that got this
Mm.
whole train started. By the way, we do have Jake. How's it going, Jake?
How's it going? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Scream. I actually just watched that for the first time 2 years ago. I was very late
Oh
to the
wow.
I was very late to the Scream party. Like I said, I'm not a huge horror fan, but Scream was fantastic. And even knowing, about the movie
Knowing the twist.
and the twist, you still enjoy it. And
Mm,
there's still that shock value, like how they reveal it. It was a really well done, kind of making fun of the horror genre but at the same time,
exactly.
providing something new. And it was it's still the best Jamie Kennedy movie.
That's not hard to do though.
That's true.
How's it going,
But
JB3?
and Matthew Lillard, great
Matthew
performance.
Lillard is so good in that movie.
He I
Little over the top, but perfect 90s over the top.
right, like I think he almost has to be over the top for his character to work.
He does. Like there is I think Matthew Lillard has some of the most quotable lines in that movie. Whether it's his over the top where Billy hits him with a phone and just offhand, you hit me with a phone, Jack. or when he's like, liver alone. liver. What's the joke?
Man, yeah, he has some great lines in that movie. I haven't seen any of the sequels yet though.
The second one is good,
So
fourth one is good, third one is shit.
that's what I hear from everyone. I say that too. So
Yes. My parents are gonna be so mad at me.
I'll be right back.
Jamie
And
Kennedy
that's
is like literally me as a kid with all the little like random horror knowledge. So his whole spiel in the video store where he's like, everyone is a suspect. I was like,
right.
yep, that's me. That's me.
It's so funny. He's done that movie, and then he does Son of the Mask, and those couldn't be two like very
Two very different movies, but both equally horrifying.
right. And
Matthew
yes,
Lillard is
agreed.
so underrated. I agree.
Agreed. He should have been Shaggy in the animated Scoop movie. I'll just
Speaking of Matthew Lillard's character, you can see him at the towards the beginning of Scream 2. He's a background extra, but I believe he was dating Nev Campbell at the time, so he was on set for Scream 2. And if you look in the very background, you see Matthew Lillard's character just walking right past the screen. So Stu is still alive. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, I'll have to watch for that when I watch it, because I am planning on watching it. I need to deepen
Another
my
horror
horror.
comedy. Oh yeah, another horror comedy I would recommend for anybody: The Cabin in the Woods. One of the best and most funny dissection of the horror genre in the 2010s. Hands down, The Cabin in the Woods, super funny, super gory. It's also got a very good cast. The Cabin in the Woods had Chris Hemsworth as the star before he was Thor. So the movie came out in 2011. It was filmed in 2009.
Right. I heard that, and that's also on the list to watch because I've heard great things about it. And yeah, I love movies that can like take the genre and do something different with it.
Hmm.
um, while still honoring the genre and
Yeah.
making a good horror movie, a good thriller, whatever the genre is. If you can make fun of it, but also honor it at the same time, then I think that's a special thing as a filmmaker. Like you're doing something right.
I think another genre of horror that, or another horror movie that does that really well that I don't think anyone talks about anymore is the Unfriended movie. It's a horror movie set on Skype, set on a video call,
Mhm.
and the horrors of that. I think for what it was doing, it was done very well. The sequel is shit. Like most horror sequels are shit. But that genre of using your, Skype and computer calls and computer screen as the launching off point, I think is really, really well done.
I remember watching the trailer for that, and then that was it. That was the only thing I saw of that movie was the trailer, and I was like, huh, okay. And then after that, nothing. Like I didn't even remember it was a movie until you brought it up just now. So, um,
So does like
it's
99% of the audience.
but yeah, no, it is. I love that. In nowadays, people can take things like Skype and StreamYard, Zoom,
Yeah.
and use that and make really good movies. Like one of my favorite movies of 2018, I believe, was Searching.
Searching is so good. I was just about to bring that
That
up too.
movie was so fantastic. It was so
Hmm.
out of nowhere for me, and it was
John
just
Cho was so good in that movie.
yeah, no, it was really good.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and the fact that that whole movie, you didn't have, like, no cameras were used. You
right.
had, it was literally, Skype and stuff. He makes fun of himself without winking at you about it. Exactly.
I need to watch Cobra Kai still. I have not watched an episode.
You need to.
I I need to get on it. Yeah. But yeah, Searching. And the ending. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, maybe the whole time watching, and then I was like, nah. And then when it happens, you're like, oh,
The only
okay,
thing I didn't like was the twist reveal of who it was. Just because I guessed who it was halfway through the movie, and I don't like doing that.
right,
But it does make sense, and the fact that the movie leaves you off on such a sour, sad note, but then turns it back around towards the end is really cool the way they did that and explained the ending.
right. Like I don't mind twists that are you know obvious as long as you can do it in a way that is it makes sense and it's still entertaining and it's still well done.
Yeah.
Um, Twists that
Again,
just
going back to Scream, that's what I love about Scream, because Wes Craven knew that the first person you would think of is the boyfriend. You would think of
right,
Ski Ulrich. You would think of Billy. But he puts hints in there that it couldn't have been just Billy, because there's a scene where Ghostface attacks Sydney in her home, and then Billy, after Ghostface leaves, Billy pops up in the window. So that wasn't him. That was Stu. Then you realize, oh, there was two of them.
right,
Now that's how
yep,
there can be at two places at once. That's how, when Billy was in jail, how the killings kept going on.
yeah. That movie is brilliant. It really is. It's so we got your horror comedy. What about like cheesy horror?
Cheesy
Like
horror.
like the horror movies with the effects that you're like, come on, my 6-year old cousin could have done this.
That is very true. Cheesy horror. Oh, let's see. You've got a lot of them. One of my favorites, and I don't know why, is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Mm.
That movie is so stupid. The effects are so horrible. Do I care? Absolutely not.
No.
Another one that I look at cheesy, but not because of the effects. The effects are actually pretty good. It's just the way the movie was structured was Freddy vs. Jason.
Okay.
Freddy vs. Jason is it's a bad movie, but
Yeah.
they dedicate the time to Freddy versus Jason. The battle gets so much screen time, and it's so great seeing two horror icons, Kane Hodder, or no, it's not Kane Hodder in that outfit. It's gotta look that up. And Robert Englund going head to head, and it's great.
Yeah. Freddy. Yeah, I actually enjoy that one. I really like that battle. So here's a question for you. You brought up Freddy, Jason. You mentioned Halloween. Freddy, Michael, Jason. All three of them are battling it out. Who wins?
Ooh, okay. I'm sorry, but I have to eliminate Michael. There's no way he's taking the fight to Jason or Freddy. So it literally comes down to Freddy versus Jason again. At that point, I mean, you got to give it to Jason. In the real world, Freddy's not going to win. In the dream world, Freddy's going to win. But you got to get
Right.
Jason asleep. If you don't, Freddy's just going to get killed instantly. And that's the thing. Jason has the most kills of any slasher. Of like throughout his 11 movies, 12 movies, you have I believe he's over 800. Let me check.
Wow. That's a lot of deaths.
That is Jason loves killing.
It's a lot of machete swinging.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He has 151 kills.
Wow.
Out of the 8 films, but he still has the highest total of any slasher.
Now that doesn't include the first Friday the 13th, right?
Well, yes, because he is not the killer in that movie.
See, I know something about horror.
There you go. It took John Wick 2 movies to. That's great.
The third movie was just for fun.
Yeah, it was.
Man, John Wick, I love those movies. Those were such a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness,
Who knew
Keanu
could be a badass?
Right, like he's had quite the resurgence in the last few years, and I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
His small role in Always Be My Maybe, fantastic. Have you seen that? It's a Netflix movie.
I have not seen that movie.
You gotta check. You gotta check it out. It's he plays. He has like a small role where he plays himself, but it's like an over the top version of himself.
That's great.
Sort of, and it is fantastic. So even if you just watch that part of the movie, that's all you need. But
okay,
yeah, it's a Netflix romantic comedy. Really surprising movie, actually. I really enjoyed it. But yes, so funny.
Okay, nice.
I'm here for it. I can't wait for John Wick 4. You know,
wait, that's gonna be announced already.
John Wick 4, yeah, it was announced. Yeah, they're gonna make John Wick movies until Keanu can't. He's gonna be in a wheelchair with a puppy in his lap.
Killing people.
With a puppy in his lap, protecting the puppy, shooting people. You know, he's gonna be rolling. He's gonna be rolling on the street. You know, taking people out at the ankles.
There we go.
It's gonna be.
Pick
He's
up the
gonna be.
ankle.
Yeah. So horror. We've talked horror. I know that you're a big. You know, you're starting this nerdum division. So obviously, you know, nerd movies, superhero, comic book.
Mhm.
Let's talk those for a little bit. Those are always fun.
Awesome.
What do you think? What are you thinking about WandaVision right now?
WandaVision is so good. Now I haven't caught up on the latest episode yet. I'm gonna watch that probably tomorrow.
Episode 4.
So no spoilers in the comments, please. But I'm loving what they're doing right now. I love the fact that they're tying everything into this massive world that the MCU is creating, and that you can't tell what's like who's doing this.
Right.
You don't know if it's Wanda, if it's Mephisto, if it's Nightmare, if it's somebody. Oh, that's right. Me, Jake, Jeremy Adams, and Brennan do a we have our episodes 1, 2, and 3 review on WandaVision out now on the channel.
Shameless plugs.
Shameless plugs. Hey, it's my channel. I can do what I want.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I've been really enjoying WandaVision. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I like that you didn't know where it was going. Like, they didn't just immediately dive into, you know, setting, you know, the phase 4 up. It was funny, and it was
really funny.
It was just a good sitcom, and then episode 3, and then like you see hints here and there about, you know,
the sword logos and the red and silver popping up everywhere, and the red blood in episode 2. Like, you see just enough of color to bring into to kind of mess up Wanda's world.
Right, and Deborah Jo Rupp in the first episode, she was fantastic.
Yes.
Kitty Foreman. Excellent. It was so good to see her.
Stop that. Stop that. That was creepy. Stop it. That was creepy.
Yeah. So yeah, WandaVision. I'm really looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that is going to be amazing. I can't wait for that to drop on Disney Plus. Loki looks really good. But I think the one
love that one.
I think the one I'm looking forward to the most is Hawkeye. You know,
That's the one with Haley Steinfeld being cast as Kate Bishop, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Haley Steinfeld, I'm there for anything she does. So
right, she was the best part of Pitch Perfect 3. Just gonna put that out there.
She was amazing in Bumblebee.
Yes, after 4 bad Transformers movies, it was nice to get Bumblebee and
try like 5 or 6 bad ones. All of them were awful.
Hey, the first one was good.
The first
wasn't great, but it was good. Transformers the movie from the 80s was fantastic.
Okay, I'm not counting that one, but
great soundtrack. Anyway,
that one scarred everybody as a kid.
Right. Why is it that animated movies have like some of the saddest scenes possible?
Up, the first 7 minutes of Up, you're in tears.
Right. The Lion King when Mufasa dies. Spoiler alerts. What if? Yes, I forget that's happening. Yes, I am.
Yeah. I didn't see Pitch Perfect 3. You don't get to get Skylar Austin on me.
It's not good, but it's Haley Steinfeld's good. Yeah, what if? I forgot about that. I remember watching the Disney Investor Day or whatever, and they showed they showed clips of it with Peggy Carter instead of Steve Rogers, and I'm like, okay, if that's where we're going, I am here for it, and I cannot wait But
Dude,
yeah,
I'm looking
Hawkeye.
forward to what is it? Moon Knight
Mhm.
with Oscar Isaac in the lead.
Right. Yes, Oscar Isaac is. I hope it's good. I don't see my knowledge of like Marvel and DC comics are what's put on screen. So that's it's movies and TV shows. So if they start talking, well, in the comics it wasn't done this way, I'm gonna be like, I don't know that. So I'm
Yeah,
just watching movies and enjoying them.
I'm kind of concerned how they're going to do Moon Knight, though, because Moon Knight is one of those characters in the comics that really should be TVMA because he pretty much has like 3 to 4 different personalities, and one of them is an assassin who goes out and murders people brutally in the comic books.
Oh wow.
So I am intrigued to see what they do, but also Moon Knight is kind of like Batman in a way because he's got his personality. His regular normal personality is this billionaire playboy, but then he's got the assassin on one end that he can turn to immediately. The Egyptian a prince is another one that he becomes in the comics, and he doesn't realize which one's which.
That sounds very interesting. They can explore that. That
Oh yeah,
that should be good. Oscar Isaac is probably one of my favorite actors of the last few years, so
oh
I'm here
wow,
for it. He's pretty. I like him. Like I
he's great.
like top 15, top 15
Okay,
of the last few
yeah,
years for me.
yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
so Moon, yeah, Phase 4 looks good. I'm less excited for Black Widow now than I was a year ago. Like, let's just watch the movie already.
Yeah, just released it on Disney Plus
Just
already.
it's just yeah. Spider-Man, I'm really excited to see where they
Yes.
go. He's he's probably my favorite superhero. It's always a toss up between him and Wolverine. Um,
Okay.
just on screen because
Yeah.
like I said, comics aren't my thing. Comic books, I just don't. I don't like to read, even if there's pictures involved. I don't read a lot. Just it's not my thing. Which is funny because I put subtitles on all the time.
I do too.
So it's like I don't understand how people don't watch movies without subtitles. Like,
See,
you're,
I only put subtitles on when I'm studying for trivia. If I have a match
mm,
coming up and I really, or if it's a movie I haven't seen or a movie that I've seen plenty but I need to restudy, I'll put subtitles on so I can read it as I'm going along.
that makes sense.
Mm. That's a perfect way to study for someone like me who has to, see stuff to learn it, to remember it. So,
Right.
like, that's perfect for me to kind of like read the subtitles and it kind of sticks better.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Remind me not to go to the theater with that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see where they go with that. Yeah,
Definitely.
the announcements they've made about it is
I think they're going to be setting
intriguing me.
up Sinister Six because they
Yeah,
already got two. They got Vulture and Scorpion. Now you're bringing in Alfred Molina as Doc Ock,
best Spider-Man villain.
best Spider-Man villain. I agree. Well, to me, it's between him and Vulture.
Right? Yeah, they're like the top two for me. It can switch anytime, but Spider-Man 2 was such like a big part of my teenage years, because teenage years weren't the best for me, but Spider-Man 2 was always there for me.
There you go, dude. Here's one that no one talks about because the movie is like total shit. But Sandman in Spider-Man 3 was a really good villain.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about Thomas Hayden Church.
No, because they always talk about how bad Venom was and how poorly handled that was, and
Which it was.
emo.
It was very much handled.
Oh, it was, and emo Peter Parker.
Oh, come on.
It's so bad, but it's so good.
It's so bad. It's bad. It's so bad. It's kind of funny. I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
it's good.
yeah. It's one of those, like, you don't want to watch it,
But you
but
can't take your
once
eyes
your
off of
eyes
it.
are on it, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mysterio is another good one in Far From Home. Jake
right.
Gyllenhaal is hands down one of my favorite actors of the 2010s.
Oh, he has so many good performances.
Nightcrawler is one of the best performances I've ever seen him in.
I still need to watch that.
Dude, get on it. It's so
it's
good.
it's on the list. I'm actually doing this thing. I don't know if I've told you. I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to watch 365 new movies this year in
Ooh,
365 days, not including new releases because that's kind of a cop out.
yeah,
So like anything from last year in the past, just to because there's so many good movies that I've missed, and
yeah.
I want to catch up and be able to talk about them, like Nightcrawler, and I just watched Blade Runner for the first time yesterday.
I gotta watch that movie.
Um,
So you know what?
so
I have a question for you. Actually, moving on to another movie topic.
okay,
Thoughts on the Warner Brothers HBO Max plan? Because I'm gonna have a controversial take on this. I believe.
well, as someone who lives in an area where their theater is closed, okay. Well, now I know there's a Vanishing Blue guy. I don't need to watch it.
It's not about a fancy blue guy.
No,
Not the X-Men character.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no. As somebody who lives in an area where their theater is closed right now, I'm all for it. But at the same time, like, I want to see these movies succeed, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if streaming necessarily allows that to happen. I think they're only on for like 30 days after their premiere date.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Um,
it's it's 31 days on HBO Max, and then it finishes up the theater release. But what people aren't talking about is those movies are going to be out simultaneously. So when it comes out on HBO Max, it's out in theaters at the exact same time. If
right,
you want to watch it in theaters, you can go and watch it in the theaters if there's a theater open for you.
right. Um, and yeah, I'm all for watching it at home. I'm gonna watch it alone anyway, and there's not gonna be anybody talking. Hopefully, um, pet peeve of the theater. Uh,
Oh yeah,
so yeah, I'm all for it. I watched Wonder Woman the day it came out. I'm The Little Things is on
I have to
now.
watch that.
I need to watch that. I've heard good things
Jared
about it.
Leto, Denzel Washington, and Remy Malik.
Yes, such a
Come
good
on,
trio. Like, but Mortal Kombat. I'm
Mortal
excited for
Kombat.
that.
Kong
Um,
versus Godzilla. That trailer.
that trailer was so good. I need to catch up. Like, I need to rewatch. I think I watched the first Godzilla movie, but I don't think I've seen the other two. So I kind of want to like watch all three of them leading up to it.
Yes. Kong Skull
Um,
Island is probably the best of the three, but I really enjoy King of the Monsters.
um, even Tom and Jerry. Like, Tom and Jerry was my childhood, so
And
I'm
see,
I'm I'm
oh, go ahead.
I'm excited for it. Like, I don't have high expectations for it, obviously. Live action animated movies don't tend to
There's only
do
been one good one.
super good, but um, they're fun. I mean,
They can be,
uh,
yeah.
if you get the right people involved, like Who
And
Framed
see,
Roger Rabbit,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is probably the only good one.
and then there's Space Jam,
Yeah, Space Jam was okay,
it's
but that's just because that's my childhood.
right, and We'll see how the new one
Space,
is.
Space Jam 2 with LeBron James.
Which LeBron James can actually act. I don't know. Have you seen Trainwreck?
I have not. I need to watch that.
He was pretty good.
That's the one
He,
with was it Amy
Amy Schumer.
Schumer? Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe John Cena was in it too, and he's pretty funny in it.
Mortal Kombat, Space Jam, and Zilla vs. Kong are my anticipated from. Yes, I'm.
Yep.
Another one is the Suicide Squad from James Gunn that I'm really looking forward to.
Right, the Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut will be good, dude. I'm just when people say that this is a dumb move from WB, I completely disagree. Because what are their other options? That their movie that they spent all this money on doesn't get shown at all for another 3-4 years at potentially.
Right,
Because
just
it's gonna take about
keep
2
pushing
years
it back.
for theaters to reopen. And I think Disney's actually doing the wrong thing by not releasing on Disney Plus.
Right, like I think Soul was a big hit for Disney Plus.
And guess what? It drove subscribers.
Yeah, I think with the success of WandaVision. I think with the success of WandaVision, I think all the MCU shows are going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
People will watch Black Widow. They've been asking for a Black Widow movie for years now.
Put it on Disney Plus already.
You put it on Disney Plus tomorrow. I am watching it. I will wake up early before I have to go to work.
Bucks.
Yeah. It's just a crazy time we're living in right now. But
I just feel like there are also a lot of movies that I'm not going to want to spend $12-13 on. Like, I'm sorry, like The Little Things, it might be great, but I'm not spending $12 to the theater to see it. Mortal Kombat, I'm not spending $12. I mean, I'd rather watch that at home. But there are movies that I have to watch in theaters. Kong vs. Godzilla. That is a movie I'm watching in theaters because that's a theater movie. The Suicide Squad, a theater movie. There are movies that I will watch in theaters over HBO Max. But there are others that Tom and Jerry, I don't care about Tom and Jerry. I love the anime movie, but I might watch it on HBO Max just because it's there to watch.
Right. Yeah. I'm 100%.
Yeah, it opens up more ways for people to see movies. I don't see why that's a bad thing. Now, the way that WB handled that, yes, that was a shitty move on Warner Brothers' part.
Right. So.
Yeah, I gotta watch Skull.
Yeah. Streaming. I think it's making its way to the forefront. I think of the movie watching experience. Netflix has a lot of good original content. Amazon Prime, they have a lot. Hulu, Palm Springs was fantastic. I think people will watch the movies if they're available. And yes, it sucks that it's not going to make as much money back as they wanted or they needed to for some of these bigger budget movies. But if it gets seen, you still got physical media that those sales can help. Put a $10 rental price on it. People will pay that. And it's the price of a ticket.
Yeah, it's the price of a ticket, and also take a good example of a 2020 movie that came out. Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Okay? That movie boasted as the first movie opening back in theaters. And what happened? It lost WB money. It did not make its money back. Now, this is a A-list actor working with A-list talent like Robert Pattinson, John David Washington, just A-list actors, and it lost the studio money because people aren't going out to theaters because people are still scared about COVID-19.
Yeah, I think any movie released between now and 2022, 2023, they're not going to make the money back that they want.
They're not.
And it's sad. It sucks because directors, actors, they're putting the time in to create this content for us, and they're trying to make the best product possible, for the
Yeah.
most part.
For the
So
most part, yes.
for the most part, there's some that I'm like, maybe you should have kept it at home. But there's always one or two a year that I'm just like, huh, that got released. But no,
really?
I
Tom
think
and Jerry?
hey, it could be good. No, Tom and Jerry was my childhood, so I'm excited to see something new. Like I said, it's not going to be great, but there's going to be entertaining moments, sure.
Yep.
But yeah, so WB and HBO Max, I'm all for it. I'm excited to have access to movies I otherwise may not have been able to see for who knows how long.
And I know I'm going to get so much hate for this in the comments, but hey, bring it on.
All right, so we've been going for nearly an hour. I know we got the Rumble tonight, Royal Rumble. You and I are both.
We do.
You and I are both wrestling fans, so why not? Let's end with some predictions. Let's just real quick. We got. I think I don't have the card in front of me, but I believe we have Sasha versus Carmella.
Sasha has to win. She's so over right now as a babyface. I cannot see her losing the belt so soon.
Right, not to Carmella.
No, I love Carmella's new character, but Banks has been looking so strong on TV lately.
Right. Especially against Reginald. Oh my goodness.
Reginald, dude, that match was great.
It was.
Flipping all over the place.
And then I hate that I'm saying this is a match happening at the Royal Rumble.
I think I know what you're doing.
Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre.
Now, I'm coming at this by two different headspaces here. What I want and what WWE will do. So, my dream scenario is Drew McIntyre hits him with 3 Claymores and it's over. What WWE is going to do is give Goldberg another championship that he doesn't deserve.
And I hate that I'm agreeing with you, because Goldberg will be the first to hold the World Heavyweight Championship, the Universal Championship, and the WWE Championship, and I think that's what they're pushing for. And he'll lose it at WrestleMania, and he'll be back in December. So, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen.
I could be wrong, and I hope they do where Drew squashes Goldberg, but I don't see that happening.
Can you imagine? Somebody brought this up yesterday. I don't remember who it was, but they said like Goldberg's just going to go in for a spear, and Drew just claymores him, pins him immediately. 1, 2, 3, match is over. Dream scenario right there. But no, it's going to be a fun.
You could do Miz cash in, have Goldberg win, Miz cashes in, goes into Mania against the Rumble winner.
I've been ready for a Miz championship reign for like the last 4 years. I'm ready for another one. Don't give me hope, Hunter. So that's Goldberg versus Drew. We kind of both have the what we want and what's going to be unfortunate.
Unfortunately, the truth.
Then we got what I think could be match of the night in Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens.
Ooh, last man standing.
Last man standing.
That's so hard to pick.
Right, because it's like, is Uso going to get involved? And
because this fits with what I want my narrative to be, I got to go for Roman Reigns. His heel character is perfect right now. And Kevin Owens, he's better when he goes for the belt. He's never... Like, Owens is great. he's never been great with the belt. He's been great as someone going for the belt. I think that's what you can run with for a little while.
Yeah, and I think you can tell a great story tonight. Like he goes through this grueling match, and then he enters the Rumble at like 26, 27, makes a push towards the end, and then just comes up this short once again. Owens is a great like fighting for my family, baby face.
He is, and he's also a very good, like, hateable heel.
Yeah, he plays both so well. Yeah,
he does. He really does, dude. Not gonna lie, that stunner he did on Roman last week on SmackDown, fantastic. Hit him with a stunner on the floor, and Reigns hit his head on the back of the barricade. I was like, oh my god,
right,
that whiplash effect.
Yeah, and I think he's doing some of his best promo work in WWE by far right now. Like
Reigns
the passion is
so
just
good. Oh, Owens, yeah, Owens is great.
Yeah, Owens, yeah, but Reigns too. Yeah, Reigns too. But Owens, like his passion, like last night, or not last night, but Friday night, his promo, like when they were doing the split screen. Man,
I gotta watch
like
that
you
still.
can
I
just
gotta see what he says because
his
definitely. So yeah, I'm pulling Reigns because this will lead into my pick for the Rumble match.
Right, and Reigns is my pick too because I think, like you said, Owens is a better chaser as a face.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've been agreeing so far. Oh my goodness.
That's about
right, Women's Royal Rumble.
All right, I have to pick one. I really don't want to have to pick one because there's two options here. I'm gonna go Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley is gonna make her debut in the Rumble. She's gonna win it. Charlotte's gonna win the belt off of Asuka, and that's gonna be your rematch going into WrestleMania.
Interesting. I would not mind. I wouldn't hate that.
And then at Mania, you have Rhea take the belt off of Charlotte. And then they're 1-1.
You're making me rethink my pick now. See, I think I'm going Alexa Bliss.
Ooh.
I'm going Alexa Bliss, and I think she's going to continue this thing with.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I think they're going to continue this thing with Alexa and Asuka, and I think we're going to see Asuka go dark.
That's not a bad choice.
And so, Rhea Ripley,
but her title against Alexa Bliss tonight, though.
Oh no, I forgot about this match. They are defending the tag titles against Shayna and Nia Jax.
Nia Jax, okay.
So, I think we'll do that match. I don't know why I forgot about that match.
I didn't even know that match was happening.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot. So let's go into that. Let's go into that one real quick. I think Charlotte and Asuka.
Yeah.
I think they lose it at Elimination Chamber, like leading up to something at WrestleMania. But tonight, I think they retain.
Yeah.
So yeah. Another pick. I was torn between Alexa and Bianca Belair. I think
that was my other pick. Yeah.
I think she'll make a strong showing. She made a strong showing last year, and I think she'll just repeat it.
She's on Woman.
Yeah, she's on such a roll right now.
She's gonna be the Iron Woman. Mark my words. She's gonna go like an hour plus.
I think they've had somebody go over 50 minutes in every Women's Rumble so far. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll continue.
It was Asuka the first year, and then
Sasha,
and now
and then it was Natty. Yeah. So. Yep. That's the women's. Now let's go into the men's. I'm excited to hear what you have. You got this narrative you said.
All right. So I'm not sure if you remember, or you probably do. 2005, Batista wins the Rumble. He's under Triple H's wing. And we have this back and forth of, is he going to go to Raw, face Triple H on Raw? or go to SmackDown and have Evolution hold both belts. What happens? He becomes babyface, power bombs him through the table, and you have your main event for WrestleMania. That's what I'm doing. Jey Uso wins this Royal Rumble. Tells Roman Reigns, our bloodline, I'm going to Raw. I'm facing Drew McIntyre, and we're going to hold the belts. You lead that about 3 or 4 weeks before Mania. Jey turns on Roman Reigns, is the ultimate babyface, and at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, one more time for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Wow, you're the first person I've heard with that idea, and I don't hate it.
And at
But
Mania,
my pick,
you can have Jey win the belt finally.
right? It could be a Kofi Kingston moment for Jey. My pick, I think it's kind of a boring pick, but I'm going Daniel Bryan. I think he's on his way to, part-time. I think he's mentioned that before. So, the one thing he hasn't done is win the Rumble. I think he'll be the Iron Man. I think we haven't seen anybody win from a single-digit entry since 2009 with Randy Orton. Seth Rollins won from number 10. He lasted a pretty long time the year he won, but we haven't seen anybody make that hour long, and he's done it before, and he came up he was this short in the greatest Royal Rumble. But I think tonight he takes it, I think, and he goes on to face hopefully Roman. Yeah, because he hasn't won the Universal before.
I could see that happening too. I just feel like for story-wise, it would make sense for Jey winning, but for a emotion and moment-wise, Bryan's a great pick.
Right, it gives the fans something, because even though they can't be there live, Daniel Bryan is still someone that they can get behind. The fans?
Yeah, I think they're allowing fans.
Oh, yeah, at WrestleMania. I meant tonight.
Yeah, no, tonight they're allowing a few certain amount of fans into the building.
Oh, I did not hear that. Okay, well,
it's gonna be kind of like what New Japan does, where they can't really scream because they're wearing masks and things like that. But you will have a real crowd, as far as I can tell.
Kind of like what NXT is doing.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, that'd be cool. So yeah, we give the few fans that are there something to muffled cheer for.
Yeah. Big E's another one that I'm looking forward to getting a big push.
I think. Yeah, that's we could talk wrestling all day too, but we've been going for a little over an hour now. I wanted this to go 45 minutes, and we've gone over that, but it's been good. It's been a good conversation. I've enjoyed this. Getting to know a little bit more of the mind of the commish, and kind of his movie preference, and just kind of a little bit more about you. So thanks for coming on and being the first guest on your own channel.
It's been an honor, man. Thank you for having me.
So yeah, I mean, where can people find you besides here?
Well, again, right here at Nerd Entertainment Network, and also just all over the place. I mean, I'm competing in pretty much every trivia league out there. If I can get my hands in it, I'm in there. Movie Trivia Challenge, Nerdum Division, and my special announcement. I almost forgot this.
Oh yes.
You ready for this?
The
end of April, Movie Trivia Challenge presents our very first pay-per-view event, Movie Mayhem. 3 big matches, including the finals of the Nerdum Championship Tournament. The Movie Trivia Challenge heavyweight title is on the line, and a 6-way middleweight contenders match. Winner will face the winner of the championship match at Movie Mayhem.
Wow. That's going to be big. I'm excited. I'm excited for more matches to get out there. I always play along and do like 60%, so that's why I'm more of a let's just talk movies instead of ask questions about them. But no, that's big. I'm excited for that.
Be fun, man.
So
Movie mayhem. Look forward to it.
movie mayhem.
All right, go ahead and close us out, brother.
Oh, I've been Jacob Barber. That is Hunter Chambless, and this has been Real Talk with the Real Deal. We'll be back soon. Another episode, maybe next week. Keep a lookout.